It's an emphatic victory for India at Edgbaston here today, and they've really made a statement by winning the second test by 336 runs. Shubman Gill has started off. He lost the first game, but this time he really made a statement there with that victory. The man of the match also in this test, and really India have completely outplayed England here in this test match at Edgbaston. Welcome back to Boundary Line Podcast with Dylan and Sheldon. And before we go ahead, requesting our viewers, please hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to our channel and please share the video. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Drop the comments in the comment section if you want to know more about this test match. But Sheldon, a not so happy England side there. You would question the tactics like we discussed, on the end of day four. What was the game plan? And even today, you've seen, but you gotta laud the Indian bowlers, Sheldon. I thought Akash Deep, Mohammad Siraj there on a placid pitch like this, they really bowled their heart out and really made the ball talk and asked some serious questions to the England batsmen there. Your thoughts on the game?
Oh, Dill, a lot of praise to go for the Indian side. They absolutely outplayed England this test. Well deserved. They've dominated probably since day one. I think it was pretty even at 220 for 5 when India were at that situation on day one. But
Yeah,
since that partnership between Jadeja and Gill, it's been all India, Dill. They've dominated, they've batted better, they've bowled better, they've even fielded better this week,
yeah.
Dill. They've took all their catches, they've been much, much better, and Dill, but the one man who led from the front brilliantly, Dill, Shubman Gill. Only wasn't it Graham Gooch who scored more runs in a test match than Shubman
Yep,
Gill, right? And
yep.
yeah, absolutely superb. Led from the front. He had his critics last week, Dill, but he had his critics when he selected the team as well. At the toss, everyone was selecting, but he did a great. The best thing he did this week is lose the toss. I feel, Dill. That was a great toss to lose. He said he was going to bowl. I'm sure every Indian fan's glad he didn't bowl, on day one, and he lost that toss. And since they batted, Dill, India just outplayed England this week, and Gill was brilliant. And yeah, Dill, I don't think many saw that coming, and that performance from India was just top class from ball one to the last.
Yeah, really, Shubman Gill leading from the front there. We spoke about him even in our last podcast there. But let's get to England, Sheldon, first there. 271 is all they could manage. 68 overs it took India to get them out on this sort of a wicket there. But Jamie Smith, I thought, played a brilliant hand once again. 88 runs there out of 99 balls there. And Ben Stokes also giving him some good company there in the middle. And even Bryden Cass also doing well. And finally, a lot of England batters getting off a pair, a lot
Yeah.
of them scoring runs finally to see that scorecard like that. So that was good. But a word on Jamie Smith and the England batting, because I think that needs to be addressed. We spoke about the shot selection at the end of day four. Would you rather say that the bowling of India was really, really good today, and you got to give credit there, or would you say that some of the shots that England played were like really questionable?
Yeah, Dill, I thought first on Smith, I thought he was the only positive, Dill, for England. Him and Brooke, I thought, were the only guys who really batted in this game for England. And Smith was brilliant, Dill. I think it's the highest score by a keeper after Andy Flower as well in a test match. I think it was third, if I'm not mistaken, in a match. Andy Flower got the first two. So yeah, it was a
Okay.
brilliant game for Smith. And yeah, the way he batted in both innings, Dill, he showed good temperament. He showed that he can attack. He even showed he can defend at times today. He had
Yeah.
to, you know, show his defensive game. And yeah, he was brilliant. He's an excellent find for England as well. The way he started his test career has been a big tick. But yeah, the rest of the batting, Dill, a lot of questions to be asked. But you could argue also, Dill, they conceded a lot of runs in both innings. Let's be honest, they were never chasing 600. But yeah, perhaps they could have, tried to block him. I feel Stokes and Smith were trying that when they
Yeah.
came in together, but then Stokes also got out just before. And honestly, at that time, it's pretty much over, Dill. Once you're six down in the first session and it's Smith batting with the tail, and they did actually, Wokes and Cast did support him for a bit. They actually
Yeah.
tried as much as they could. But yeah, the batting didn't fire this week, Dill. I thought, as I mentioned, the top order, especially the top four, didn't get many runs. Duckett and Crawley, Pope also this innings. He didn't do much. He has a tendency of scoring big in the first test and then fading off. It looks like that again. He'll hope to get some runs, and yeah, a lot of questions for England. But I'm more concerned about the how the bowling went this game because they looked
Yeah.
really off the ball. Till India
They,
outbowled
yeah.
them. India looked like they were much quicker bowlers. They looked like they swung the ball more. It almost looked like England were their wayside with the way the bowlers were bowling. It's like they didn't look threatening at any point in the second innings. Honestly, India could have declared at any point they wanted. They were that well on top when they came to bat. England at no point looked like they'll blow them away. Bashir, I don't know if he's the spinner for England. The only time he got a wicket was when Pant literally said, "I'm going to try to hit you out of the ground." Twice in the
Yeah,
test that happened. So yeah, a lot of questions to be asked, but I wouldn't be surprised if England changed the whole bowling attack for the next game, especially with it being a short turnaround. I think that is
yeah.
very possible. And yeah, I'm more concerned for the bowling than the batting. I think the batting is a pretty strong batting lineup still. I'm more concerned with how the bowlers look this week.
Yeah, I think England's batting, in the first two tests has been good. I would say
Yeah,
Ben Duckett, of course, first test, getting that brilliant 100, and here we've seen Harry Brook, Jamie Smith
yeah,
getting some runs there. So it's not a big question for them that, but the bowling, yes, Sheldon, you could see that they were really famished. These
yeah,
guys, they were already like down and out. They're back-to-back tests,
yeah,
bowling first. It takes a toll there. But a word on India, Sheldon. Would you rather say that this was, a kind of a big statement,
yeah,
when the declaration came, there were lots of questions on whether they're going to be declaring, at 500, 550, what's a safe score. But it almost, they said that, you guys like to chase so much. Let's see if you can, uh, you know, play the waiting game and play for a draw. Right, because
yeah.
that's test match also. You got to play for a draw sometimes also. But and you said that I could see Stokes also playing that game, and he has that game with him. We've seen it
Yeah.
back in the days. Stokes early on when he first started, he could play the long game there. But it's almost as if that urgency to just hit every ball shot, and you could see that in the England, batting there. But what's your take on that? The way India came out, I thought they attacked brilliantly. Of course, that many runs, you've got the cushion of that many runs there, but they attacked brilliantly. But it was almost as if a big statement was made, especially coming from the first test into this test match.
Yeah, then I think the biggest statement also was that they were like, we can't give England a chance like we did last game.
Yeah,
You got to kill off England when you can in the game, and when you're in on top, you got to, really assert your dominance. And they did that in both innings. I thought India were very ruthless this week. I think that's a key word when, you mentioned India's performance, because in the first innings, easily they could have been 450, 500, but they cashed in, they made 500 plus. Gill as well. He could have sat back at 150 or 200, but no, he batted longer and he really made a big knock. Even in the second innings, he could have
yeah,
easily got 50, 60 and said, okay, I'm done here. And,
yeah.
and India as well could have declared much earlier. They could have declared at 450 or 500, like if they wanted. But they said, no, we've dominated this game. We're going to really put the runs on the board, and we're going to leave England zero chance of winning this game when we finish batting. And that was the case. And England were almost defeated before they came to bat in the second innings.
Yeah, just really, really, got to applaud India the way they played. There were mind games, a lot of mind games being
Yeah.
being played. Are they going to declare? When are they going to declare? But it was very strategic, I thought, and it was at the right time it came because
Yeah.
Shubman didn't want to get the bowlers also too long on the field. Wanted them to be fresh, for the next day. And there was a chance of rain today. It was raining today. We had a
Yeah.
delayed start also, but that was put to rest. It was just an hour, and then they got back, and it was really, really good. After that, it was all India there. But what's in it for India now? Getting into the next test is going to be a brilliant one. It's going to be at Lord's, the
Yeah.
home of cricket. We all know what an iconic venue that is. India last time won over there on that ground,
Yeah.
that famous win there with Virat and the men. But this time around, now the series is level, Sheldon. We are in for an exciting series. I said this at the start
Yeah.
of the series at the preview. It's going to be an exciting one. Do not count India out. No Ashwin, no Kohli, no Rohit Sharma, but this team is still got guys in that can be genuine match winners on that day, and we've seen today, Sheldon. But your take on the next test? What's it going to be like at Lords? How is India going to approach it? Because I think there are going to be changes over there also. Bumrah is definitely going to come, and Shubman said.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Bumrah has to play, right? They rest him for this game, and it's worked out terrifically for them, right? He's got rest, and India won, and they went to Lords, with him, fully rested as well. So yeah, he's definitely going to come in. I think he'll come in for Krishna. Looking at the way India's got, you can't drop Siraj and Akash Deep after that bowling performance. Still, those two
Nah.
were absolutely brilliant. They led from the front. Both innings, both took fifers as well in the game. Absolutely brilliant. So I think Bumrah has to come in for Krishna, and then that looks like a very good seam attack, Dil. You got Akash Deep, you got Siraj and Bumrah. I think that's a very
Yeah.
solid bowling attack for India. The only thing is probably do they still continue with Sundar and Jadeja? Would they go that at Lords also? Well, Lords usually offers a bit more for the seamer, so would they
Yeah.
like an extra seamer? That's an interesting dilemma there. But yeah, it should be brilliant at Lords still. 1-1, going to the third game with 3 games left. I mean, it couldn't
Superb,
be
yeah.
set up more well. And also short turnaround deal, so we don't have to wait long. I mean, yes, many teams complain about short turnarounds, but as viewers, it's great, right, Dil? We
Yeah.
don't have much time to think or, like wait. So yeah, I think both sides will be wanting to go again as well. And yeah, it'll be very interesting to see which all bowlers play again, Dil, because some of these bowlers have played 2 games in a row as well on both
Yeah.
sides. So it's going to be key to see which players, go for the third game in a row, Dil.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, the third test. I can't wait for it to start already. I just feel
Yeah,
India have got the momentum now going
yeah,
into it, and you can already see a deflated England side here,
yeah,
Shalan, getting into the third test. And these wins matters also, right? The
yeah,
way you win the test matches also matter getting into the
yeah,
next test, because that says a lot about the mind space, the way you are. But man, this modern day, these guys, the way they play, they don't even care, what
yeah.
happens there. But we as viewers definitely enjoyed. But I think, Sheldon, we really need to talk about one guy, and that is Akash Deep, the way he's bowled. I mean, his backstory, the way from where he comes from, the amount of struggle that he's gone through, a back injury that almost, costed him his place in this Indian side, and to keep on struggling and knocking on that Indian door, to get into the team. And finally, he gets his chance. He's not the first bowler, that was picked for this. Of course, it's Bumrah and Siraj that are there. Then they go to Arshdeep Singh, who's the second choice, and he's probably that last choice. Probably Harshit Rana was also in
Yeah.
the reckoning. And to think that this guy has come from so far, Sheldon, from Bihar, then goes and plays for Bengal, and finally playing for India now and taking 10 wickets. And I think almost a big hand to play in this test match, Sheldon. I think we
Yeah.
need to say Siraj and Akash Deep, both of them really. Of course, Shubman Gill played the knock and got the runs on the board, but you need bowlers who can take 20 wickets for you, right? That's what it is all about. You need bowlers who can win you test matches, and I think a genuine wicket taker, Sheldon. The way he got the ball to move, and that wicket of root, Sheldon, that was, I think, the really the ball of the test match, I thought.
Yeah, and you mentioned that ball to root as well. That's probably what sealed the deal for India. I think India at that time probably knew, okay, that's England's, kingpin. That's the main man for them.
Yeah.
So once you get him there on the fourth day as well, okay, we need 7 wickets, but there's no root. The game's pretty much sealed by then. And yeah, Dil, a brilliant story. I mean, as you mentioned, probably not first choice. If Bumrah played this game, he probably wouldn't have played
Yeah.
Akash as well, Dil, and he was so impressive, Dil. I mean, with the new ball, especially, he was brilliant, Dil. He hardly gave a bad delivery. He had that extra pace as well, which really
Yeah.
seemed like the England batters struggled to, and he got it to zip around, and that ball to root was just, the peak of his powers. Still, it was absolutely brilliant, and yeah, Dil, as you mentioned, the hardships he's gone through and well as well, it's great when you see a story like that still play out.
Yeah, but what's it going to be for India, Sheldon? The batting is also looking good now. Shubman Gill, form of his life. Records been broken almost on all the days, I think, of this
Yeah.
test match. We've had some of the other records been broken there, but everybody amongst the runs now, you would say, barring a few, which I think is not a big question for them. Rahul amongst the runs, Rishabh Pant, whirlwind of a knock again in the second innings. Jadeja 50s in both things. Shubman Gill getting 400 plus runs in this test match alone. And Sheldon, he needs just 18 runs to become the highest the Indian with the most number of runs in a test series in England, which is absolutely insane. And we've just done with 2 games. So
Yeah.
what's going to be India's game plan, Sheldon? Now getting into this next test here at Lords. Shubman first time playing at Lords. He's never played there before. It's going to be brilliant for him also, and good experience. Would you say that the team selection's got to be right? Gautam Gambhir can finally breathe also, I think, now
Yeah.
after getting that win, because I think a lot of pressure was on both these guys, Sheldon, getting into this test match.
Yeah, Dil. I mean, they'll breathe a sign of relief, but they'll also think we have a good chance now, Dil. You can't let this momentum slip.
Yeah.
You have to keep it up going to Lords. You can't let England back in because we know even England once they get back, they can also start winning games. So yeah, It's going to be another big week. Team selection will come to it again, Dil. What would you do, though, Dil, with the team for India? How would you line it up? Bumrah obviously comes in. Would you stick with Sundar as well in the team, or how would you balance that out?
I think I would stick with Sundar in the team. I
Yeah.
would remove Prasidh Krishna and get in Jasprit Bumrah.
Okay.
Just adding that extra, of course, Jasprit Bumrah, world
Yeah.
class. He just adds everything. Everything else becomes, extra when he's playing there. And Washington Sundar, interestingly enough, more for his batting, I would say there,
Yeah.
because the partnerships below. Also, you've seen once Jadeja probably gets out, there's nobody else there, to bat along. So I would say he's really good. And of course, his bowling also, Sheldon. Not that bad today. That ball to get Ben Stokes also was good. You could see the revs on the ball that he was getting. There was nice drift also, but never know the Lord's pitch how it behaves on day 3, day 4. Probably it starts to turn a bit. So Jadeja will need some help if he's only going to be the lone spinner there. But I think India will stick more or less to the same side and not make too many changes. If not, they'll probably remove Washington Sundar out, get Shardul Thakur back in, maybe to add that extra seamer if that's the case. But I would say India not to change much.
Yeah, Dil, I think rightfully so. When I look at England, though, I think perhaps they'll make more changes, Dil. I think more also because all the seamers looked very done by the end, Dil. You could tell.
Yeah,
I mean,
really done.
they were also in the field for very long. When you look at
They
it
were they
in
were waiting for the test match to
yeah,
get over. You could
ye-
sense that.
yeah. I think yesterday they were like, please declare India, as soon as possible. And you saw also, I think all the seamers, they all just looked, paced down in the second innings from the first
Yeah,
innings. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. They've added Atkinson as well in the squad for next
yeah,
test. So I
yeah.
think he'll come straight in. I think Archer's definitely going to play as well.
100%, one hundred
Yeah.
percent Archer's back.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, if they changed all the seamers because they also have a lot of extra seamers in the squad. They have Overton as well. They have
Yeah,
Sam Cook in there, so they could easily play three new seamers, which I think also isn't a bad thing.
yeah,
Especially in a long series. It's not like they're done for the season. I think Vokes and Tong and Cast could play maybe fourth test, fifth test, but
yeah.
I think next game, with it being a short turnaround, I wouldn't want to play any of these seamers again because they just look very, very tired. And in 3 or 4 days, I don't think they'll recover that much still.
Well, you've heard it from Sheldon there. England Pacers will need to come back strongly after that performance by India there. But it's been India right throughout this test match, guys. They've dominated every single day. There
Yeah.
was a time when they were 220 for 5 in that first innings
Yeah.
where it looked like England can bundle them out very easily. But the Prince, or should I rather say the new king of Indian cricket, just put all those questions away and all those haters and doubters away and getting a mammoth score there in this test match alone and finally getting his first win as Indian test captain. Shubman Gill and his boys will be very proud of the way they played today. Akash Deep, Mohammad Siraj, and everybody. I thought the bowling was completely good today. Prasidh Krishna also bowled really well. They fielded really well, and it's a happy Indian side getting to the next test at Lords, where it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens there. Bumrah will be back for that, and so will be. Stay tuned for more updates on Boundary Line Podcast, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video, and we'll see you soon in the next one. Bye.